When it comes to meditation, we often talk about raising awareness into those heightened states of being to access states of transcendence and enlightenment, but rarely do we discuss moving consciousness down within the molecular levels of the body, and this is where chakras are concerned. Now, if you want to learn about chakras, it's time to forget about energy centers and whirling pools of energy, because let's face it, most people just aren't ready to go there yet. But if you look at chakras a little bit more closely, you start realizing that there's a little personal development role that they each play. Stick with me and I'll teach you all 7 chakras in a very simple, logical way that you can understand in simple and plain English. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and click that bell notification so you never miss a meditation lesson. Alright, let's get started. The information I'm about to share with you is featured in my book, Meditate, Breathe into Meditation and Awaken Your Potential. And it's all about the last section, which I call integrative development. It's a way for you to move your life forward into states of fulfillment and restore your physical, mental and spiritual well-being. Before we start exploring the 7 chakras, let's talk about what a chakra is. Now, you may have heard of chakras as these whirling pools of energy, these energy centers located at key points throughout the body. I want you to forget about that for a moment, because to understand chakras at that level, you need to be in heightened states of awareness with your meditation. You need to be able to listen to your body like a meditation master. And I don't know about you, but a lot of us, when we're meditating, we just want to move our lives into happy states of fulfillment. And that's where I want to focus on with chakras. So I want you to forget about the colors of the chakras. I want you to forget about the symbology of chakras. Don't worry about any of that, because in truth, none of that's going to serve you until you access those deeper, more enlightened states of awareness in your meditation. So what we're going to really focus on is chakras as a form of personal, spiritual, and mental development. Now, to explain a chakra, I'm going to use a couple of analogies, starting with the first one being, think of your body like a car, and that your chakras are kind of like the instrument cluster. So that little bit above your steering wheel, which tells you how much gas you have left, which tells you that the temperature of your car, tells you how fast you're going, shows you the direction that your blinker or your indicator is flashing. Basically, all the information you need to know about your car's performance gets displayed right there in front of you, and that's kind of how a chakra works. You've got all these little points of data, points of information, which tell you how your body is operating and how that specific area of your body is affecting your life and well-being. A second analogy we can use is if you liken your body to a computer, and each chakra is like a specific component, a major component of that computer, sort of like the video card or the fan or the memory, the RAM that keeps your computer operating fast and smoothly. So each chakra, again, has a very specific role to play in keeping your life functioning happily and healthily. And like I said earlier, if you're too focused on the colors and the symbology of the chakras, you're moving way too far ahead, and your chakras won't be able to serve you, because what you're trying to accomplish is not where your area of development and skill is at present. So we're going to scale it back to the basics and really focus on the physical, more logical, more rational components of chakras so that you can understand them in simple English. The first of 7 chakras is the one that you want to pay most attention to, and the one you always return to when your life is going a little bit crazy. You always come back down to this base level of chakra, and this is your root chakra. Now, you may have heard of the root chakra as located at the base of the spine, but because we're going at the more physical components of chakras so that you can understand them more clearly, think of the root chakra as located at your anus. Yes, I'm talking about your butthole. And the reason why we place the root chakra there is because this is the first indication as to the state of our health and well-being. And that's what the root chakra is all about. It carries the knowledge of our physical health and well-being. So if what is coming out of your anus is not healthy, there's definitely a problem with this root chakra. And so the way to restore balance with the root chakra is to basically get healthy, get physically healthy. Think about what you're consuming in terms of fuel and what you're eating. This also is connected to your connection to all life. So think about how you're breathing. Is your breathing clear? Can you breathe without congestion? Are you free to breathe? Can you feel as if you can take a deep inhale and exhale through your nose without any blockage? The root chakra is all about the basics, and whenever life gets out of hand, it's always the first point of call that you return to. So your root chakra, all focused on your health and physical well-being. So once you're healthy and you know how to keep yourself alive and how to keep your body healthy and functioning in life, it's time to move on to the second chakra, known as the Sacral Chakra, located at the sacrum. But again, we're bringing it down to the physicality of it. So think of this chakra as located at your sex organ. And the Sacral Chakra carries all the knowledge of your basically well-being. So once you're physically healthy, it's all about moving that into play. And if you think of the whole world as a playground, this chakra is all about how you play within it. So if you're curious about what's lurking on top of that mountain, or if you're curious about what's under a rock, that's your sacral energy at play. Because once you're physically healthy and you're existing in life, it's time to explore it. And that's what the sacral energy is all about, which is why it's connected to play and sexuality and your connection to the world and how you interact with the world. The sacral chakra is where the fun really begins. So really delve into your curiosities and stimulate this energy. And once you feel confident just to explore life in your way and on your terms, you will really start to unblock this second chakra. The third chakra then is the solar plexus, which is located at your navel, so your belly button. And basically think of this chakra as your gut instinct. But think about how this works and why it comes third, because already you know how to keep yourself alive, so you can measure against experiences that may come into question, like I'm not quite sure if that berry is going to sit right with me. I'm not really sure if that's actually healthy for my body. This is you developing the gut instinct because you've stimulated and fulfilled the first chakra, so you know how to keep yourself alive. So you're always going to be questioning and exploring exactly what you put in your body and listen to your body. So that allows you to trust yourself a little bit more. Then the second chakra is all about being confident enough to play and delve into curiosities. By stimulating those first two chakras, you can then have a level of self-trust and intuition where you can live your life independently. That gut instinct starts forming into a level of self-trust where you know how to keep yourself alive and to keep yourself engaged in the world. And that's why it comes third. You don't know how to trust yourself if you don't know how to keep yourself alive. You don't know how to trust yourself fully if you don't know how to navigate through this world. So once those first two chakras are fulfilled, the third chakra, the solar plexus, gives you the trust, the self-trust, and the gut instinct you need to keep moving your life forward, to keep pushing yourself through challenges, and learning to listen to your gut instinct and developing that intuition will not only improve your life and well-being, it will skyrocket your meditation to levels you can't even comprehend yet. Now, before we dive into the heart chakra and beyond, I want to ask you a quick favor. Please leave me a comment below. Let me know if I'm on the right track with this, if you understand this, or if it's completely out of your depth, because I really want to deliver the most digestible and simplest lessons I possibly can. And with your feedback, I can make sure that I'm creating the best content possible and to help more and more people in this world meditate and get on board with accessing their own inner intelligence. And also don't forget to click that like button as well and show me some love so we can really get the message of meditation and all this simple knowledge about chakras out there to as many people as we possibly can. Thank you so much, and let's continue. So by this point, you know how to keep yourself alive and healthy at the root. You know how to interact with the world and engage in states of play and engage your curiosities with the sacral chakra. And you now have also developed self-trust and independence and an intuition to trust your gut instinct so that you can continue to move your life forward and overcome any challenges that you may come across with the solar plexus. Now moving on to the heart, which is my favorite chakra. I want you to try an exercise with me. I want you to close your eyes and I want you to think of the world as existing in complete darkness. And the only thing that you can hear and feel and resonate with is the beating of each other's hearts. Imagine being able to only communicate with your heartbeat. That's essentially how the heart chakra works. It's basically telling the world you're present. And the heart chakra is all about existing in presence, located at the center of your chest, but more associated with the heartbeat. And that's what we're going to focus on right now. Think of your heart as its own little communication device. As it beats, it's sending a signal out to the world. And you want to make sure that your heart is always functioning beautifully and functioning in a wonderful way that communicates your truth and makes your presence known in the most truthful way possible. So think about how differently your heart beats when you're anxious, when you're scared, when you're really hungry, or when you're really tired. Your heartbeat has all these different ways of functioning and beating. But by making sure that the first 3 chakras are in balance and aligned, the heart chakra starts to open up a little bit more. Now think about that as well. Think about knowing yourself and your body so well, knowing how to keep yourself healthy and alive, knowing how to interact with the world, and having such a level of self-trust and instinct. How naturally would your heart open? How easy would it be for you to interact with other people and other beings on this planet with a complete open heart? Because you have so much trust in self that your heart can remain open. You know how to restore yourself back to a state of equilibrium if, let's say, your heart gets broken. You know to go back to your health and put yourself back alive. You know that you have these curiosities you engage. You simply have a level of truth that you can reconnect with should ever the heart feel out of balance. And that's why the chakras work in this specific order. It's very hard to have an open heart if you can't even take care of yourself physically. You can't even keep yourself healthy. It's hard to have an open heart if you can't trust in your own self and well-being. It's very hard to have an open heart if you don't know what engages you, and if you don't know what moves you forward in life. So the heart really is dependent on having the lower 3 chakras in a state of equilibrium and balance. And once they do, the heart opens and you can share your presence. You can be seen in the world confidently and happily without fear. You can exist in the world in the most wonderful, truest way possible, because you've done all the work to ensure that you are here and you are alive and you are part of this world, because you've done all the work to learn about yourself and learn about your role and how you exist within it. And as such, that heart opens and magical things start to happen. So once your heart is open, it's time to express yourself. The throat chakra, located at this vibrational center here. And it's said that with every word you utter, you are essentially stimulating creation. You are creating experiences for yourself with your words. Why? It's because everything we say is based on everything we've consumed and feel and think and connect with and resonate with on the inside and outside. So your throat is like a bridge between your heart and the rest of your mind and body. Your throat chakra is essentially like a magic wand wielding creation around you. And the only reason why it's so powerful, and the reason why it exists after so many other chakras, is because you got to know yourself first. You got to be able to say yes and no in certain situations. And think about it, especially where the sacral energy is concerned, that whole state of play. Imagine being in a situation where you're able to say no. This is the power of the throat chakra, and why the throat chakra comes after opening your heart and all the other lower chakras as well, is because you need a level of self-trust, self-realization, self-connection, self-actualization, self-esteem. All of these are connected and have to be activated before you start uttering the words that stimulate creation. The only reason why I say the words stimulate creation, because again, according to the ancient knowledge, is our voice is like a magic wand. Anything we say, we can't take back, which is why we always have to be careful with what we say. But if we've built a level of self-trust and truth within ourselves, and we know ourselves so well, we can trust our truth to come out freely. And our truths are all about what we experience within and everything that we experience on the outside. It's all about really collecting our experiences together and stimulating exactly what we want. It's communication, it's connecting to other beings, it's being able to express yourself so honestly that you don't have to necessarily censor yourself. And that's the beautiful thing about the throat when all the other chakras are aligned. Then you have the third eye. Now the third eye is a little tricky one, but think of this as your sixth sense. The third eye chakra is basically your sense of truth, your ability to connect with and resonate with what's true. And remember, you fulfilled 5 chakras prior to the 6th one, the third eye. So you have a solid understanding of who you are, how you function, and how to keep yourself alive. So there's nothing about life that is in question for you. So when you're meditating and that third eye is going to experiences beyond your experiences of life, you now have a fundamental level of truth that you can compare all of those experiences against. So for instance, let's say you're a person living with childhood trauma and you're using your third eye to navigate back to that memory. Now, if you watch the previous video, you've realized that you are the third eye. It's not something that you have. It's the version of you that exists within your own mind. So if you're venturing into a memory, you now have a truer experience of life to measure that memory against. You can recognize that traumatic experience as more elusive to you. You can recognize that traumatic experience as something that does not resonate as true to who you are at the very core of your being. Why? It's because you've done the work all the way from root to this point over here. The third eye can only start to get balanced and start working for you is if it has something to move forward with. Now, anytime you experience a crazy idea or something that just is way out there in your mind, because you've done all that work, your third eye knows what to return to. Your third eye knows the level of truth that it needs to meet at a minimum requirement as it delves into elusive worlds that are beyond the physical present moment. So knowing yourself so well allows that third eye to be put to work. You have a controlled version of yourself, a version of yourself that it's so at peace and in control and in fulfillment that anything you experience within your mind, good or bad, you have a place to return to. You have a body to return to, a home that you can measure against. Just kind of like how we go traveling and we measure all of these foreign worlds and foreign languages and foreign foods against the experiences that we've had at home. That's kind of like how the third eye operates when all the previous chakras are in balance. You know how to take care of yourself. You know how to trust yourself. You know how to play. You know how to have an open heart. You know what you want to say and experience in the world. And it's time to take all of that knowledge with you behind your third eye and then start delving into your meditations a little bit more deeply. And that brings us finally to the crown located at the top of your head. Now, the easiest way to think of the crown is whenever you ever held a newborn baby and you just kind of feel the top of the head and you notice it's soft, that's your crown chakra. That's the crown right there. And the crown is basically your access to all knowledge that is beyond your physical experience of life. Your crown is basically, when open and balanced, it connects you to the higher power, the really deeper transcendental levels of meditation. It's almost like where the root brings in physical energy, the crown brings in metaphysical energy, and they meet at the heart and the heart just shoots it out. I know I went a little esoteric there, but the crown is quite difficult to express because we can't see it. But think of the crown as the thing that governs the subtle body, the energy field around your body. The crown is kind of where all the spiritual experiences and metaphysical experiences that exist occur. The crown is your connection to your spirit, your soul, the ether, to, there's so many different words I can use and probably they're not all accurate, but consider the crown as the portal in which you share your experiences of life with the creator itself. It's the portal in which once you've fulfilled all your chakras, the crown starts to open, and through the crown you can send the knowledge of your experience of life. It's like, hey creator, look at what I've been able to do with creation. Hey creator, look at what I'm able to experience as a creation. Hey creator, look at the state of creation. Your chakras, all of that knowledge has to go somewhere. It just doesn't stay in your body and in your mind. It can shoot out the crown. And this is when we start getting into karma and moving your life into kind of spiritual stages of development, breaking the cycle of reincarnation, life and death, and all these Buddhist philosophies, Taoist philosophies, Sikh philosophies, Hindu and Vedic philosophies, Tamil philosophies, Christian philosophies. All these things start all up out here and all connected and resonate with the crown. But in order to really get to that point, until you can get to that state of self-transcendence, you want to move through the basic levels of your being. You want to be able to navigate your life fulfillingly. Now, if you've ever heard of this study by Abraham Maslow, a psychologist who put together a hierarchy of human needs, starting with the most basic needs through to love and belonging, self-esteem, so on and so forth. If you ever read that study, and I mention it also in my book as well, so you can reference to it, you'll notice how that resonates with how your chakras develop as well. So it really is taking care of your basic needs and moving up and leveling your truth up each step of the way until you can get to a moment where you're like all right, creator, this is what I got for you. So that's all the 7 chakras summed up. But if you want to delve into it a little bit deeper and kind of get the knowledge and sit with it and soak it up, I highly suggest you get a copy of my book. It's called Meditate, Breathe into Meditation and Awaken Your Potential. And there's a whole section at the end. And it's not that thick either. I tried to take a lot of the esoteric out so you can really focus on the basics. And the nice thing about it is I actually share a meditation technique that you can see, activating intelligence, and I share a meditation technique each step of the way as well, so you can start activating your chakras in meditation. And I promise you I've kept it simple enough. You'll notice I don't talk about the colors, I don't talk about the symbology, because no one's ready for that yet. It's not even necessary at this point. Just focus on the basic areas that you need to develop, and you'll watch how intuitively you'll resonate with all the spiritual sides, such as the colors and the symbology. But for now, really focus on your chakras as a mode of personal, physical, mental, spiritual development. Really keep it simple, and the spiritual stuff will make sense to you. Also, if you do want to learn how to meditate, go check out my free meditation starter pack so you can start meditating quickly. I've also attached to that starter pack a very special offer which can enable you to get a little bit more deeper into your meditation practice with some core lessons from yours truly. Thank you so much for sticking with me right to the end of this video. This is Meditate with Terry, and I will see you soon with more knowledge about meditation, how to practice meditation, and how to move your meditation practice into deeper states of knowing. Thank you. See you again soon. Take care.